Hey friends, my name is Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Sim Sunday. I'm going to teach you guys how to fly smooth today. That was the Ultimate Jungle Gym Basher, which at the time of flying this was on 802 27,000 kV motors. It's basically just a Mobula 7 ELRS with I don't know what camera it was on that day, but yeah, Mobula 7 ELRS with BT 2.0 conversion, and I was probably flying it on the Weebleed FPV 450 mAh 1S batteries. Really amazing rig, super durable, as you could see by all the crashes. Yeah, I mean, you can, it really is like, it's too big for inside. Like, can you fly it inside? Sure. Is it better than the 65mm rigs inside in any single way? Absolutely not. It really shines outside. The 65mm rigs inside, they have significantly less weight and power, and it just makes it a lot more realistic to do big gnarly tricks indoors. Outside, they still do work, but for being able to do like those big power loops, like power looping the entire jungle gym, the 75mm rigs are going to do a lot better with that. and then, you know, doing like little stuff like shooting through those the little monkey bar handles. The 75 can still do it. Admittedly, the 65 is king of that kind of stuff, like flying through those little handholds. With the 75, like, you had to have it lined up and then you had to just go through it. With the 65, you could actually like fly through it, like you could make little corrections in the middle of it, which is pretty slick. Hold on, which two files did I play? I played the last two files. There's a chance that one of these was the 65mm rig. Hold on, let me compare the size of the ducts real quick. Oh wow, those were both the 65mm rig, because there's me showing the 75mm rig. I'll be damned. 32,000 kV. Yeah, okay, I lied, yo. Oh, okay. So the first file at the beginning was the 75mm rig, and then that last one, that last little bit there, was the 65. Okay, that makes sense. Here's the real question: could you guys tell a difference? Could you tell a difference between the way that the rig was flying at the beginning of the intro versus towards the end? Be honest. Nobody cares if you couldn't, so you might as well be honest. In the chat, Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper was first. Michael K was next. CH3FPV, RT McKinney, Rob Axelson, Troy, Flush FPV, Riot 9, Freelojo, Espander, Rob Axelson, McConnell Studios, Troy again, Left Step FP Avery, Northern Tier, Wind Jumbie, Zeft, Douglas Otwell, UMOP, Jack Smallman, Dan Richmond, Christian V is here, Bruno A, Riot 9, CMYK is in the house, Rob Axelson, Anonymous, Riot 9, Tony Morgan, Frank Nicholas, CMYK again, Travis Hargrove, Riot 9, Morton Upshot. What's up, friends? I am attempting to not really repair, but so on Friday's live stream, I put these brand new Newbie-Drone 0702 29,000 kV motors on this BLV4, Acro B BLV4, and I did it. I put them on with an old standard set of TinyWhoop motor screws that I had. I didn't notice that in the box with these motors, they gave me a little tiny baggie of screws that are shorter. Most TinyWhoop motors, there's the metal stator base, and then there's a PCB on top of that. And the PCB that's on top of that is what the windings are soldered down to. And then that PCB has pads on the outside that the motor wires are soldered down to, right? And what most motor manufacturers do on that PCB, on top of the stator base, is they drill holes to line up with the threaded holes in the stator so that the longer TinyWhoop screws can go up through the stator base and then up through the PCB, and they don't hit the PCB. If they're too long, they'll keep going and they'll hit the windings, but most of the TinyWhoop screws are not too long. It would appear that Newbie-Drone did not put those holes in the PCB, which is why they send the little set of screws that are shorter. I didn't get the memo, so I put these motors in Friday with the longer screws, and the longer screws went through the stator base. Do it this way. The longer screws went through the stator base, and then they started to push up into the PCB, and then they just cracked the PCB. I pushed the PCB up into the motor bell and the windings. So I might have destroyed the motors because the PCB did crack on a couple of them, because you got three screws, and so you're just pushing the PCB up in three different spots, so it kind of did crack. There's a chance though that it didn't break any of the traces in the PCB. So what I'm doing, if you see me fiddling around below the desk, I'm not masturbating, I promise. I did that already today. No, I didn't. It's me taking the 2 long screws out and then putting the shorter screws in. I already did motors 3 and 4, and the motors spin freely now. I have to go in there with the fine-tipped tweezers and push the PCB back down. But yeah, after doing that, motors 3 and 4 are spinning freely again. So might have dodged a bullet on this one. Yeah, there's a little gap there. Man, I mangled this PCB though. What is? I'm very frustrated with myself. Arr, arr. I'm very frustrated that I didn't use the screws that they shipped with it. But like, you know, once you put a set, this is the first time ever that one of these has come with shorter screws, and like normally once you put the screws into the frame, they just like live in the frame, and it's kind of nice. Like they stick in the frame, and you don't have to take them out. So yeah. Main topic for tonight is flying smoother. How do you do it? How do you fly smoothly? I'm going to ignore. So I've talked quite a bit about how to add smoothing in Betaflight, which is going to help. That really only helps like maybe 1%. 99% of flying is your fingies. And so that's what we're going to talk about. In Velocidrone, I'm going to show you guys with a stick overlay a couple of the ways that I just fly in a way that looks really cinematic and really smooth and really buttery. It's kind of all about committing to stick movements and not bailing on them. Which, like, I'll be able to explain a lot better once we're actually up in the air and flying, and you can see my my stick overlay. So yeah, that's the main topic for tonight. One of these screws just went flinging off into never to be found land. It might be in my crotchal area though. It is. I got a magnetic crotch. What can I say? The ladies have been telling me that for years, friends. See, in my case, it says lather butter on it. What? They give a bunch of these extra screws. They give you 2 extras. That's nice of them. So I've got 3 of the longer screws here, and then I've got 6 of the longer screws over there. So yeah, we should be good. So yeah, basically the process of what I'm doing is I'm swapping the longers for the shorters, but then the PCB has already been pushed up. So I then need to go pirate mode and look at the PCB, and with my thin-tipped tweezers, pull it down. There's absolutely no chance of me showing you this, but yeah, the PCB has just folded upwards above where the screw holes are. There should be a little, there should maybe, I mean, I guess it's kind of self-explanatory that if a motor comes with screws, you should use those screws. But that's really not self-explanatory, because everywhere other than TinyWhoops, there's no way for the motor manufacturer to tell what the thickness of the arm is going to be that your frame that you're putting the motors on is. Like, usually you can get close, right? Like with 5-inch rigs, the arms are going to be either 5 mil or 6 mil, unless you got some wacky kind of frame. All right, cool. So the main thing that happened, the PCBs actually didn't push up into the motor bell. There's always a little, the end of one of the windings that they put a little piece of shrimp wrap on. You guys have seen this before on motors. And that is actually what is being pushed up into the motor bell. So that's what I'm needing to push back down here with this. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV like these beautiful people have done. And when you do that, it lights up an orange like this here for me. And that way I know you're talking to me. Apache Smoke says, what's up, CiottiFPV and hello, Gangly Gangers. How's everybody doing this Sunday? I'm doing good, my man. Better now that I'm hanging out with you beautiful people. Rob Axelson says, hey, how's your gangle hanging? Short shriveled and to the left. What movie? What else we got going on in chat? Bruno says, hi, everyone. Hi, CiottiFPV. What's up, Bruno? CMYK says, yo, what's up, Gangly Gang and CiottiFPV. Nani FPV says, howdy y'all, what's good? Right 9 says, can I tell a difference? Looks like one was dropping an arm. BlueJay 0.18. Cold. That's cold. But maybe. Now that I think about it, maybe. I need to investigate some things on some of these TinyWhoops to see what version they're on. So I noticed on Friday, when I put those 1002s on the Tiny Lifter, I did notice that when I was turtle moding it, when I went full stick, it did the weird thing that the BLV4 was doing, where in turtle mode, as I got towards the end of the stick deflection, it stopped. It stopped making power, and it started doing this weird like thing where it doesn't make much power. So yeah, I need to kind of investigate that. And I just got mixed up as to where I was on this. So hold on, I replaced 2 of the screws, but not one of the screws. Shit, which one did I not replace? This is the one. It's sticking out farther. I can physically see it. Yep, this is the last. Oh! It fell on the keyboard. So, hey, once I get done with this, we can actually fly this. Well, hopefully we can fly this. And I'll give you a little bit of closure from Friday's stream where you watched me get all excited and bolt these motors on and then not be able to fly the damn thing. So, yeah, we can do that in a minute here. Get off, short screws, get off. That's what she said. Get off of me, I only want a short screw. CH3 says, your Jungle Basher is my daily driver at the moment. I'm ripping Fractal 75, Happy Model 0802 25,000s, Happy Model AIO, FR Sky Old, still running 357. Nothing wrong with that. Runcam Nano 3, Dogcom 550 BT 2.0. Very cool. Very cool little build there for sure. RT says, CiottiFPV pays to read all the directions, look at all the parts. It does indeed. I'm actually a big proponent of reading instruction manuals. Back in my photography days, it really drove the point. Like, it was really handy to read the instructions because they have info on all of the settings that are buried in the menus. And all of those settings that are buried in the menus are really important. And it really, like, you learn a lot by just reading through what those settings are and what they do. And it makes you a lot better of a photographer, interestingly enough. So yeah, I'm actually a huge fan of reading the directions. As long as the directions are done half decent, right? Like, in FPV, a lot of times our directions are pretty terrible. When I first met Joshua and we became friends, he was being hired by a couple of the big companies to write instruction manuals for them. And like, who better than Joshua to do that? The problem with it is it takes a long time to do that, and it's kind of like thankless in a way, because like, especially because you do all that work, and then the 6 months later they discontinue that rig and completely redesign it and completely rebuild it, and you got to start all over from scratch. And so yeah, for the manufacturers, right, they pay all this money, and for the people doing it, it's like, oh my god, I have to do this all over again. I mean, I'm sure you could just take it and kind of modify it a little bit, but yeah, I mean, the tech changes so often that you're going to have to modify quite a bit of it. Alright, so I've pulled all the PCBs away. All of the motors, I believe, now spin cleanly. I noticed it because I went to turn a couple of the motors by hand and they bound up. Actually, no, I put it into Betaflight and all of the motors just juddered. And it was because the tiny little motors really, if anything is blocking them, they don't have the power to spin past it, to spin through it. And that's what was going on. So this thing should be good to go. We can see what's what with it. But first, we got to put it into Betaflight and spin the individual motors up. CH3 says, sent you a story of smooth flying as the topic for the night. What does that mean? What in the world? Sent you a story? Where'd you send it? On Instagram? Ooh, fart. All right, BT 2.0. Firing up Betaflight here. Douglas Otwell says, indoor TinyWhoop, air mode or not. It depends. If you want to go zero throttle, air mode. If you're not going to go zero throttle, then you don't really need air mode. But I keep air mode on everything forever because it's better. Motor direction, I understand, wizard. Hey, they all spin, yo. I might have fixed it. Okay, motor 1 is wrong. Motor 2 is wrong. Motor 3, you guessed it, wrong. Motor 4, I see the writing on the wall, wrong. Stop motors, close. I understand the risks. Yo, these motors sound smooth. Wow. I'm impressed. Out, 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 and out. We are good. Cool. I'm going to leave everything else alone. This was a rig that was flying totally fine. I got a pretty serious PID tune going here. Some real old school analog equalizer vibes going on these sliders right now. Am I right? You old heads will know exactly what I'm talking about. The amount of throttle expo and the throttle midpoint might need to change, but well, we'll give it a shot the way it is now. It's got quite a bit of filtering. The BLV4 board is interesting. For some reason, RPM filtering just does not work. So yeah, that's kind of annoying. Not the end of the world, but you know, just kind of one of those things where it's like, why? Why? Like why? is my main reaction to that. But also, like, why? I think so. NewbieDrone sent me both of their new sets of 702s, the 29,000s and the 27,000s. I think the 27,000s are going to go into a giveaway. 27,000 is better than 26,000, that's for sure. So like the Mobula 6 ELRS, when it, for the brief period that it came with 702 26,000s, that's going to be a similar amount of power to these 27,000s. The only thing, so it would, in theory, you would say that would make it like that would make the Acro-B fly similar to the Mobula 6 ELRS. The only problem is weight. The Acro-B is significantly heavier than the Mobula 6 ELRS. So technically, this setup on the 702 29,000s is probably going to be more similar to the way that a stone stock 702 26,000 kV Mobula 6 ELRS flies in terms of power to weight. The extra weight of this rig is going to make it more slidey, and it's going to make it harder for me to stop from banging into stuff around here. But yeah, you guys are used to that by now, I'll bet. So let's get some propellers on this thing and throw it up in the air and see what it's like. What do you say? I didn't plan on doing this, but I felt bad on Friday. I felt like there was no sense of closure on Friday because I was unable to get this thing up in the air. I did get the. I was glad that I got the tiny lifter up in the air, and you know what? We might as well take a quick look at what version of Blu-ray it's on. Blu-ray, great. BlueJay it's on. Let's actually do that right now. Let's do that right now. Okay, so plugging in, I need 2 batteries for this thing, and we are going to go to esc-configurator.com. Once you get there, you want to power the rig up, and then it's going to act just like regular old BL Heli. So you're going to click connect in the top right, bottom right, read settings, and now let's see. Nope, it's on 0.16. Okay, so that's a good thing. It's on 0.16. What could be happening? Maybe the timing is too high. Let's move the timing back to medium. Let's turn off PWM dithering. And then I think I'm going to leave everything else alone. RPM power protection ramp up. Limits how much power can be increased according to how fast. Lower values will avoid power spikes but can decrease acceleration. Let's take this down to 8. Temperature protection. Yeah, let's we'll give that a shot. I'm not going to put this thing up in the air, but next RC Drift event, I will bring it with me and fly it, and I'll see if it's still doing the weird shit. So, but I did mainly want to confirm that this wasn't on BlueJay 0.19. This is on 0.16, so it should be totally fine. Greenhorn says, do you have a video on the Meteor65 Pro ELRS? I do not. I do not like that quad, mainly because you do not have the option of putting a bi-blade propeller on it, and cutting 2 props off of a 4-blade, in my opinion, is just too janky. You're never going to have... that propeller is never going to be well balanced, and that's kind of a deal breaker for me. So, yeah, the Betafpv Pro stuff, I don't really agree with. I don't think it's the right way. We need to develop. We need to further develop the 65mm stuff, the regular 65mm stuff, and the regular 75mm stuff, rather than throwing additional options into the mix and slightly bigger propellers. Do slightly bigger propellers give you more efficiency? Absolutely. But it's a TinyWhoop. We're not chasing efficiency, we're chasing flight performance. And one of the best ways to gain flight performance is to stop changing, just kind of change one variable at a time, right? And the variable that we're really focused on right now with TinyWhoops is stator size and KV. That should be what we're focusing on, really dialing in to perfection, like what we did with 5-inch rigs, right? Like 5-inch rigs fly as good as they do because they've had the most R&D done to get them, to get everything dialed in, and get the absolute perfect stator size, all up weight, motor size, motor KV rather, and all those good things. So yeah, what do you guys think for propellers on this thing? This will be a group decision. Ready? Here's your options. Options for propellers are we'll do this dramatically. The purple Newbie Drone Venom props. Regular old Gem Fan bi-blades. These are going to perform the best. But then there's also the green Venom props. And they're going on this guy here. I'm leaning towards the green. I'm leaning towards the green Venom props. Right? But look at the purple. The purple looks kind of cool too. The problem with the purple is it's so much darker than the frame. What do you guys think? 2 votes for green, 1 for purple. Another vote for wait, no. 2 votes for green, 1 for purple. Green it is. Only let 3 people vote. That's how you win. All right, we're going green Venom props. I have drilled these Venom props out with a 1.4mm drill bit. I would not be using them if I hadn't. All of Newbie Drone's propellers fit way, way, way too tightly on most motors. Although I wonder if the Newbie Drone motor shafts here are undersized. Hold on, let me take these props that I drilled and make sure that they're not too loose before I go on a rant. Nobody likes it when it's too loose, you know what I mean? Nope, they still fit good. So yeah, all of Newbie Drone's props, the hole to mount the propeller with on the motor shaft is a little bit too tight, and you can very easily ruin your motors while you're trying to remove the props. So be really, really, really careful about that. Because yeah, a lot of times you can't buy individual replacement motors. On Amazon, you can buy a 1.48 millimeter, I'm sorry, a 0.98 millimeter drill bit. Is that what it is? 0.98? Let me just double check for you. Here it is. 0.99 actually, a 0.99 millimeter drill bit. You can buy a little pack of 10 on Amazon. And if you do that, do our little community here a favor, because you're not going to need 10 of them. Go on our Discord channel and say, yo, I just got a pack of 10 of these Bing Bongs. Who's here for my Fling Flong? And somebody will reply and say, I love Fling Flongs. Can I rub my jib jab on your flip flap? Never mind. But yeah, do the thing, because you won't need 10 of them. That's what I did. And I ran out. You guys bought them from me, because you're the best. Patchy Smoke Wonder Sniper has to go. CMYK dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. Lots of different ways you can support me over on CiottiFPV.com. This is a fully crowd-funded operation that I've got going here. I kind of stole that idea from Joshua Bardwell. He showed me by doing that, like, if you ask people to support you, a lot of people will, which is amazing. But one of the beautiful things about doing that is that you're not beholden to any company, right? You're not like relying on companies to send you stuff for review and for giveaways and stuff like that. So when Joshua does a review, he's not invested in that company or that product. So you get total honesty in terms of the review itself. And I absolutely love that. And yeah, stole that idea from him. And that's how I do things here too. So yeah, if you have a couple of extra dollars, basically like this content here that you're seeing, if you choose to support me, you will only pay 7.5 cents. You will only pay me 7.5 cents an hour. The amount of content that I do versus what it costs to join my Patreon over on CiottiFPV.com, yeah, you'll pay 7.5 cents an hour of content. And you know, I think it's worth it. Especially when rigs look this good. Look at that green and purple shit, yo! Hold on, I'll give you a proper view of it in a second. Let me just put these guys away where they belong. You gotta stay organized little by little, friends. That's my life hack. Little by little. A little bit of organization here, a little bit of organization there, and then it tends to not get completely out of control to the point where you don't want to be organized at all. All right, let me give you the real sex spec reveal here. Hold on. Let me find something good. That's it. Just found it right away. All right, hold on. There it is. I'll never get tired of doing that. That's one of my favorite things to do. I gotta be really honest. Hockey Rounds with the $2 super chat. He says, testing the super chat. It works. Thank you, dude. Thank you for testing. Cool. So, let's just check one more time that that everything is spinning freely. Whoop, nope. No, it's not. Something's hitting. So it's the propeller hitting... It's the propeller hitting the support of the frame. I don't love that. Well, if that's gonna be a thing, we're gonna hear it. It's gonna, as soon as we arm it, it's gonna, and it'll actually self-clearance. So let's just do it. Let us just send it. We are going to send it. Is that cool enough for you? Am I cool now because I said that I'm going to send it? Am I cool now? Am I a popular YouTuber now because I said send it? And I'm saying it over and over again now, so I must be ultra cool, because that's what all the successful cool YouTubers do. They say send it over and over and over again. Over and over again. They say send it. They also say let's go. So if I start saying let's go over and over and over again, will I get more of an audience? Will you guys think that I'm cooler? Let's go. Send it. Let's go. Oh, something in the world happened. Let's go. What? Stop saying let's go. It makes no sense. And everyone else is saying it. Stop saying things that everyone else is saying. It's silly. Say things that make sense. Is there an award for like the biggest asshole on the internet? Because damn, I'd be a shoo-in. Not true. Not true. Okay, guys, let's send it. We're going to now send it. It's time for some full send. We're going to send it. Full send time. I'm cool. Sorry. If you say send it, I apologize. I don't feel bad, though. I feel good that I'm attacking you. Because I'm just fucking tired of hearing it. I'm tired of everybody's... Yeah, so they're hitting on the supports. We're going to let it self-clearance. Let's do this. Turtle mode will sometimes clearance it up real quick. So it's motor 2. It's the right front. We're just going to send it, though. Ain't care. Just send it. Let's go. Oh god. Oh boy, what's happening? Alright, it was in horizon mode. Jesus, it feels heavy. Not on purpose. I was trying to power loop back through the, I was trying to do this. That's what I was trying to do. But the weight got me. I gotta put this on a scale because it feels real heavy. Hold on. I changed the canopy and the camera mount to a screw mount, and that's heavier. I did that though to I don't know why I did that. I don't remember why I did that. Yeah, it's heavy. 23.3 grams without a battery in it. And that's mainly the camera and canopy doing that. Is this camera plugged in or did I solder it down? I soldered it down. What an idiot. What did I do that for? I guess I must have taken the. I had a. I remember now. I had a Mobula 6 canopy that I needed. I ran out of the Mobula 6 canopies, so I had to. I chose to rob it from this one. But I think I want to make this thing lightweight again. Although maybe not. I mean, it, like, as much as I kind of want to make it fly good, the video that comes out of it looks so bad that, on the other hand, I'm like, well, maybe I don't care about that. But this is Newbie Drone's new canopy, and I do really like it. It's just on a rig that I'm trying to get light to fly indoor freestyle. It's not the best. It's not the best match, but it is a really nice canopy, and it's screw mount, and it's got a very adjustable up tilt. Like, so let's do this. This will be fun. Let's go to like 1,000,000 degrees of up tilt, and we'll fly with a ton of up tilt. So that's like that's got to be, that's at least 30. That might be 40. Christ, that might be like 45. Let's play this game. This is a more fun game than desoldering this camera. But what I am gonna do though is try to find in my little bag of cameras here real quick. I'm gonna try to find the. I've got a Runcam Nano 3 that I direct soldered the Newbie Drone specific plug to. And now that I have more of the Mobula canopies, I can put that back on there. So here's the BI camera. I could put this BI camera on a McStinky mount, so I'm going to leave that out. This ain't the one. Where the hell is it? Is this it here? Oh man, I robbed the black plastic piece too. Where did that Runcam Nano 3 go? Did I might have desoldered the the thing. I think I'm going to be going back to a BI camera. Yeah, it looks like I did. I desoldered the lead from that Runcam Nano 3. Okay, that's fine. So we'll go back to a this will be kind of cool. So we're going to put this thing back onto a BI camera, which is what it comes from the factory with. But I'm going to put this BI camera into a much lighter mount. I'm going to put it into a McStinky mount. If you want to buy a McStinky mount, they are what a lot of the top racers use. So they're arguably like one of the best camera options for TinyWhoops. I could also just go back to a Goober canopy, but that's no fun. And I try to save these Goober canopies for the tiny lifters, so I don't really want to be banging this thing around freestyle with the with that on there. But yeah, I'm gonna grab a McStinky that will fit this Newbie Drone BI camera. There are 3 different versions of the McStinky mount. One of the versions is for the Runcam Nano 3. Another version is for large board cameras. Another version is for smaller board cameras. I have all 3 of them in this bag. So yeah, if you want to try a McStinky mount and you don't have a 3D printer, or if you just want to support the insanity that is trying to be a full-time FPV content creator, I will sell you a McStinky mount. I have them in red and purple, and I have them in all 3 different sizes. If you go on Thingiverse, well, I have a, well, no, if you go on Thingiverse, they're, whatever. Just email me and we'll figure it out. Or message me on Instagram or Facebook or something. So yeah, this is what we're going to do right here. Little McStinky action. It's purple, so it'll match the frame all nice. And yeah, it's got the plug so I can just plug it on in. But for right now, let's fart around with like 1,000,000 degrees of up tilt, because that's kind of silly. So yeah, if you want a McStinky mount, I'll sell it to you for the price of shipping, which is basically $5. If you're gonna buy a McStinky mount, though, what a good time to maybe get like a sticker from me or something else. I've got a bunch of stuff up over on Etsy, but let's see what 45 degrees of up tilt is like inside the house. It's gonna be a nightmare. I'm calling it right now. You're gonna see me crash more than you've ever seen me crash before, and that says something. Because boy, oh boy, do I crash a lot. Here we go, friends. Oh my God, it's just it's just looking up at the ceiling. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. Wow. Wow, I gotta fly all the way at the bottom of the... Oh God, it's already begun. Oh wow, okay. So oh boy, okay. The roll and yaw mixing is really weird. Really weird. Okay, this is gonna take some time to get used to. Yeah, okay. Wowie. Wowie, okay. Come on back, OSD, I need you. Wow, oh boy. Oh God, okay. Woo! Shit. Wow, oh my God. It doesn't even look like it's going that fast because it's just looking at the ceiling. Like, one of the things I like about low up tilt is that a lot of your, if you fly low to the ground, a lot of your frame will be taken up by the ground rushing past, so it gives you a really nice sense of speed. Whoo, my goodness, this is hard to do. Okay, it's gonna go in my hair. It did too. It hit me in the head. Wow, that's absolutely absurd. That is just outrageously difficult. I'm gonna now go down to regular up tilt. Well, you know what? Let's. I mean, we have a little bit of time. Let's swap the canopy out. I want to give this rig its due, and these motors, they're due, and I want to lighten this thing up back to, like, at least what you would get from stock. So like, if you bought one of these, right, it would not be this heavy. They do not sell this with this super heavy camera and canopy setup. So yeah, let me give, if you were to buy this rig, it would come on the regular Goober canopy, which is significantly lighter than this. We'll actually take a couple of weights real quick here. How did this turn into Whoop Wednesday? What the hell happened here? That's okay. Hopefully you guys are into seeing this. The response that I get with any kind of TinyWhoop content is like, just do that. Just do more of that, yo. So I don't feel bad diving into this up front here instead of Velocidrone. Again, also because this gives you a little bit of closure from Friday's live stream. All right, so let me get a little bit of flux on here so that when you solder a camera directly up to this newbie drone board, the pads are really small, so it's pretty difficult. Let me try to give you guys a better view of what I'm about to do. All right, so you're not really going to be able to see what I'm doing, but you'll at least get to see the pretty smoke. You'll get to see the smoke show. All right, so I'm just gonna like rush through this. All right, there's one. There's the ground. And there's the 5-volt. All right, so the camera's free. What I do need to do, though, is try to remove the solder from these pads because it gets in the way of the plug going in there. So, hold on. Let me get a little tiny bit of solder braid. I'm just going to put this in there, and it's going to wick some of that solder up and out. If you do not have solder braid, you've lost your mind. You need to get it. It's much better than a soldering pump, or a desoldering pump, I should say. in my experience and in my father's 30 plus, Christ, maybe even 40 plus years of electrical engineering experience. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. And that's all there is to it. There we go. Those 3 pads are all set. All right, so I'm going to dive back into chat in a second here, friends. I just wanted to focus for a minute. So that's good to go. Let's get a couple of weights. Let me really give like the full picture here. So when you buy an Acro-Bee, look at that camera shot. Look at that camera focusing on the board, all sexy like. When you buy a newbie drone Acro-Bee, it comes with this canopy setup, and it weighs 3.2 grams, which is a lot. One of the things I like most about the Mobula 6 is the canopy and camera setup are very, very lightweight. I think they're like 2.1 grams or something like that. So 3.2 grams for the regular old Goober canopy. 3.2, 3.3. This monstrosity that I have on here, oh yeah, 4.2 grams. So a full gram, we added an entire extra gram from the stone stock setup. And what the reason why I'm doing this right now is this is not flying very good on these 0702 29,000s, and it's basically because I added an entire gram of extra camera weight, and then I subtracted that by going from an 802 to a 702. So these, if you're going to run these 702 motors, you want to have the rig as light as possible, right? And I had the heaviest possible camera and canopy setup. So 4.2, 3.2, and then now McStinky. I'm super curious to see what this is going to weigh. So we're going to go from 3.2, hopefully down, hell yeah, down to 2.5, awesome. So 2.5 grams for the McStinky with the newbie drone BI. So this would be a very easy little upgrade to make to your Acro-Bee BLV4, right? Because it's just pulling the camera. It's this exact setup that it comes with, and then you remove the camera from this, buy a McStinky from me, drop it in there, and you're good to go. So yeah, there's a good way to make your Acro-Bee half a gram lighter, is to swap it on over to Senior McStinky. Senior stinks a lot. So yeah, now we just gotta put this fucker on. Oh, the McStinky's not gonna fit, is it? Because the UFL is up here. Oh, balls. Well, is it gonna at least like sit flat? Yeah, it looks like it's gonna sit flat. There's UFL on one side and there's IPEX on the other side. So yeah, it's not gonna sit totally flat. The camera is gonna sit a little bit off center. What I'm gonna do to offset that is to move this wire up here. Yeah, okay. I can make this work. We're gonna be okay. With the McStinky mount, you want to make sure that you push the camera far enough into it that you're not going to get a bunch of the TPU in view. So yeah, you tend to have to push the camera a little bit farther in than you think you should, but it's okay. It holds it completely fine when you push it in to the point where it's almost like kind of popping out. Like you'll think it's going to pop out, but it won't. It will not pop out the front. If anything, it'll pop out the back. And what we're doing is we're pushing the camera farther forward. So now we're going to get this guy plugged in. I think it plugs in like this, in this direction. Yeah, because voltage was on the right. So let's just get this on here. These are a little tricky to plug in. Just keep at it. You'll get it. There we go. And after you plug it in a couple times, it kind of loosens up. Nice analog for life there. Okay, so I mean, worst case, we can go back to the goober canopy. But yeah, I really wanted to get that super heavy camera and canopy the hell off of here, because that's not doing these lightweight motors any favors. You know what I mean? Like, what is nice is that the lightweight motors do help the situation, right? Like, they're going to bring the all-up weight of the rig down, which is a really, really good thing. That's what we're focusing on with these Acro Bs, because they are a little heavy out of the box. So reducing the weight really does help. And with the high KV, with 29,000 KV, you're not really sacrificing any power. If Newbie Drone would make like 29 or 30,000 KV 802s, they might be a better. I mean, they make the 27,000s, which is a really good. Like, I'm really glad that they make those. But those are not quite enough. I mean, they're close. They're close to being enough. Kind of want to run these wires a little bit differently, but just for the time being, we're just going to kind of leave these wires all janky. Just don't judge me. Let's just get it up in the air and see how it is. If this ends up, I have a funny feeling I'm going to end up putting this back onto a goober canopy. Next time I do a Newbie Drone order, I think I'm going to snag one of the purple, a couple of the purple goober canopies for this thing, because it just looks so good with that setup on there. Okay, so McStinky is bolted down. And I think I kind of ran the wires in a way. Yeah, the camera's sitting pretty straight. So that's fine. All right. That's cranked down. That's cranked down. All right, cool. So now, what do we bring it down to? I mean, I guess we could have just done the math from weighing the canopies, but what fun is that? It's always better to see the actual number for ourselves. 20.9 grams. Not bad. 21 grams, right on the nose. 21 grams. Cool. So that is much better. This should be greatly improved. All right, we are now going to send it. Let's go. Let's send it. Go. Let's go send it. Full send time. We are going to send it. Here we go, friends.
Telemetry lost.
Come on. Connect. Connect, you bastard. There it is. Much better. Oh my god. Much better. So these McStinky mounts are at 25-degree up tilt, which is, it's a bit much, but the way that the McStinky mount sits, it sits really low. So you'll notice there's a lot of duct in view. Like, look at the bottom of the frame. Look how much duct there is. It's a little deceiving. The Mobula 6 canopy, if you have this much duct in view, you're at like 5 degrees up tilt. But yeah, like I said, this is a 25-degree up tilt McStinky mount, which is a bit much. 25 is more than I really want. But it's not as bad as like the 45 degrees I had a minute ago, so I will muddle through. This is a much easier adjustment. Stop it. Don't you. I sended it too hard. I sent it too hard. Am I cool now? Am I extra cool because I said those words with my big dumb mouth? Oh, there it is. So, you can still slay. Fuck! Ah! Yeah. You can still do big stuff. Great. You can still power loop the coffee table. That one was kind of clean, too. It definitely is 7. It definitely does not have the power to weight ratio of the ultimate freestyle TinyWhoop build, but this is a plug and play. Well, other than BT 2.0. Other than BT 2.0, this is a pretty much plug and play build. The Mobula 6 is 2. Come to think of it. But yeah, with the Mobula 6, you get zero customer service. Although I've actually heard that Happy Models customer service is really good. But if you have to mail it back to them, they're in China, so that's going to suck. So yeah, if you want to support a US-based company, you can build a hell of a little TinyWhoop with all Newbie Drone stuff, and the only soldering you're going to have to do is the BT 2.0 lead. You could technically do this without the BT 2.0 lead. There's no reason not to. You're just going to leave significant performance on the table. Like, it ain't going to fly the way that it did just now. It's going to have noticeably less power than this. But it's going to be, you know, very better than any TinyWhoop that we've ever had before. Like, the performance improvement that we've experienced with TinyWhoops over the last, like, 6 months of the KV numbers going through the roof has been shocking. So yeah, that's I absolutely love that. We're very, very lucky. So yeah, there you go, man. This, I think this is pretty much the ultimate BLV4 Acro B. It's hard because it's like, how far do you go? Like, at what point of upgrading something does it no longer become the thing that it originally was, right? So, like, this has a BLV4 AIO in it. It's got the Newbie Drone camera, and it's got the cockroach frame that it comes with. I would sort of rather switch this over to a Meteor65 frame. It would save a little bit more weight, and it would be a little bit more durable. But again, like, does that make it really no longer like an Acro B, like the ultimate Acro B, right? Is it just, like, where's the line between the ultimate TinyWhoop that happens to have the Acro B AIO in it versus the ultimate Acro B, right? I feel like this really is like the ultimate Acro B, because we still have the frame. We just did a motor swap in the same frame, same AIO, same camera, and we just changed the camera canopy. So, like, you know, swap it to BT 2.0, swap the canopy, swap the motors. That's a pretty, like, in the car world, they've adopted, like, calling everything stages. Like, so, you know, you've got your stage 1 tune. It's incredibly frustrating, to be honest. But yeah, there's like your stage 1 tune, where you put on, like, most bolt-ons, like an intake and an exhaust, and then there's like the stage 2 tune, where you're also doing like a tune to the computer and maybe like headers, like the next level of bolt-on work. And then there's like stage 3, which is like bigger turbos a lot of the time, and like, so, and you know, each step of the way you go farther away from the OEM stuff. So yeah, but I think, and this still look like, if we swap the frame, it really wouldn't look like an Acro B anymore, right? So maybe that's a part of why I think that this is the ultimate Acro B. So yeah, this is just a Newbie Drone BLV4 Acro B. I've swapped the motors over to their brand new 0702 29000s, which, as you just saw, fly really nice. These are the, Christ, I'm even using Newbie Drone propellers. These are the Newbie Drone Venom biblade propellers. And yeah, I swapped over to this 3D printed McStinky camera mount. and it flies really nice. If you wanted to keep throwing money at this, the next thing that I would do is an ultra short singularity antenna, and that would put the head of the antenna like right here, right behind the canopy. That would look really nice, rather than this big gangly linear antenna. And at some point, this frame is going to break. It does have a lifetime warranty, but the Meteor65 frame is more durable and lighter. So yeah, I would eventually swap that over. So there you go. Good looking little rig, actually. I will put it right here, and anytime anybody wants me to fly the Ultimate Acro Bee, you just let me know, and I'll put that little guy up in the air for you. Ah! I stole that from Mighty Car Mods. Go subscribe to him here on YouTube or else. This is a box from Rotor Riot. It's a whole bunch of t-shirts from Rampage, yo. I didn't know they were going to be doing this. I think this is because I won the thing, and then I got a free membership to Quad Squad, I think they call it. And yeah, I think a part of Quad Squad is they send me a couple of t-shirts, which is pretty awesome. So this is their super duper muted shirt. Oh, that's cool down the middle of the back. I like that. I wish they'd rotated the letters, but that's cool right down the middle. I'm actually, it's got me thinking of doing that on one of my shirts. What could we run down the middle of the back of one of our shirts? And then we've got, this did say like Rampage on it though, so maybe everybody that went to Rampage got this box, possibly. So we've got, this says like Flightline something or other, Flightline Manager. Look at that. All right, that's pretty cool. Little sponsors on the back. I like that. Same color and scheme as 2022 Rampage. I kind of wish they'd switch the colors up, but that's okay. I would love them to use that teal color. If that shirt was that teal instead of gray, that would be really cool looking. I dig that teal. I dig that the new Rotor Riot teal. It's like that, right? Wouldn't this shirt look hot as shit instead of gray, it being this teal, this shirt color teal against that purple? It really works. They did a great job picking the color scheme between these two. What is this? What is this, rat poop? I think this is rat poop that I'm touching. I'll survive. Oh, this looks good in black. It looks like this is just the black version of that. No, it's different. It's different. Yeah, that looks cool. That looks really cool in black. Yeah. Maybe they sent this to me because I didn't get shirts when I was there, possibly. But I don't think I saw other people wearing shirts when I was there. So maybe there was a screw up with the shirts and they didn't show up in time or something like that. I don't know. If you went to Rampage, did you get this box last week with these shirts in it? Let me know. If you volunteered at Rampage, did you get this little box with shirts in it last week? Let me know. Oh, that's the worst. And then today, a box arrived with an awesome little Fly Tribe goodie bag. We've got a couple of the green shirts in medium, which is awesome because he didn't have any mediums there. And so I think it was like a large shirt, so I just put it into giveaways. But this should be medium. Yes, it is medium. Cool. So I can start, you'll be seeing a Fly Tribe shirt on me at some point. Shirt of the day today is my National Cycling League staff shirt. I think it says staff on the back, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, National Cycling League is the cycling organization that I'm basically their drone pilot, which is pretty cool. They're the ones that hired me to do Miami Beach, and I've got 2 more events coming up with them this year. I'm really excited about. One of them's here in Atlanta, and the other one is in Denver. And then a whole bunch of stuff here. Some battery straps, really thick, beefy ones. filled with beef. I'm going to keep 2 of these for heavier rigs, and I'm going to give the rest of them away in giveaways because, yeah, I like to spread the love. Some really cool looking stickers. The sticker has like a, I don't know, it's really cool. So I'm going to keep 2 of these, and you guys are going to get the rest. And then a transmitter lanyard, Flytrap magazine by FPV Pilots for FPV Pilots. I love what these guys are doing. I love that they're doing it. It's great. I'm going to keep this to put propellers in. Yeah, if you can support Flytribe, support them, because it's only a good thing that there's a physical magazine about FPV. Like that is just 100% good news. So let's show some love and make sure that we try to keep their magazine go. I mean, at this point, we're gonna be getting it off the ground because it's absolutely brand new. So let's do that, yo. Let's get it off the ground and let's help the fellas. And yeah, we'll have one more cool thing to kind of check out. But that does require you to do something. Like, you can't just not do anything. You have to actually do a thing. You have to buy their magazine. You have to buy their swag. You have to tell your friend about their magazine. You have to get their magazine and then show it off to people, right? So you got to do. Everybody has to do a little something in order for things to get bigger and continue to exist and all that good stuff. So there you go, yo. Yeah, that fits much better than the large. Cool. We are Flytribed up. Check them out, yo. They're doing something really awesome. Joshua just made an amazing review of the first magazine. Okay, let me head back up here in the chat, and I'm going to get caught up. And then once I'm caught up, we're going to dive into Velocidrone and talk about how to fly smooth. CH3FPV says, oh no, we got that. Douglas Otwell says, no, we got that. Here we go. Peter Savis says, tried TinyWhoop 30,000 kV on Mobula 6 Meteor frame BT 2.0. First I tried PIDs from Mobula 6 settings flyaway. Then I had to lower master multiplier to 0.8. Awful prop watch. Is this normal? Definitely not normal. If you have to move any of your sliders in Betaflight below the default of 1.0, there is a mechanical issue. That mechanical issue could be a ton of different stuff. Bent propellers, out of balance propellers, bent motor shafts, out of balance motors, a frame that's cracked somewhere, and there's pieces of the frame like this, and then they're vibrating and making all kinds of chaos. Your flight controller, in this case your AIO, might not be soft mounted properly. You need the AIO and the rubber grommets in the corners to be as floaty as possible. The frame and the motors are going to vibrate like hell. You need the AIO to be isolated from that so that the frame can vibrate underneath it, and those rubber grommets absorb a lot of that vibration. So like if you've got it mounted, but then you have a wire like jammed up against the AIO and the frame, you're taking away that ability to damp some of those vibrations, and you're basically hard mounting the flight controller, the AIO, which is no good. So yeah, you've got to find out why you've got so many vibrations getting into your gyro. Or in the case of like the Diamond AIOs, the AIO could be the problem. The Diamond AIOs are very electrically noisy. So the low kV motors that they sell with those quads that have that AIO are as powerful as you can go. When you go to a more powerful motor, you introduce more noise into the system, and when the system doesn't have enough capacitance to filter out that noise gets into the gyro and it feeds back, and you end up with something that flies horribly. Luckily, the Mobula 6 ELRS standard AIO is really good, although the brand new version of that AIO does have a gyro in it, the 42866, don't quote me on that has struggled in the past. So the gyro that's on your AIO could be the problem. If it's the wrong gyro, even on the good board with enough capacitance, depending on the gyro choice, it could be an issue. I've built them with all 3 gyros, MPU 6000, BMI 270, and the ICM, and they've been okay. So I have a feeling that the problem is elsewhere. Oh, your gyro could be bad. That is a fairly common thing right out of the box. The chip shortage really has driven the quality of electronics to hell. So yeah, could be a bad gyro. But if you had a rig that was flying fine, and then you just switched the motors, that's tough. If the rig if it's a brand new rig, then it could be a gyro problem. But like if the rig was flying fine and you changed just the motors, it's probably not a gyro issue. It could be, because the gyro could have been like almost bad enough, but not quite too bad. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of things for you to try, Peter. Rob Axelson says, I was in high school the last time I had to push something down. Troy Freelog says, when you change battery leads on the Mobula 6, how do you recommend cleaning old solder from the holes so I can get the new wire through? So great question, Troy. You can do one of 2 things. You can use solder wick, like I was just showing you, SOLDERWICK. The good stuff is this Chemtronics. This is what you want. There's a bunch of different sizes and shit. This is 80-4-5, and it's really good. As you can see here, it says rosin SD. It has rosin or flux inside of it. It's got powder flux inside of it. Yeah, this is all you need, just a little jibby-jabby. They sell them in these little thingies, and these little things snap together. This is actually solder. But yeah, Chemtronics sells their stuff in these little discs, and then the discs connect, which is just the most satisfying thing on earth. So yeah, get you some solder wick for sure. But technically you don't need it. Technically what you can do is figure out a way to stand the AIO up. I use this little vat of basically silly putty or blue tack. This is made by a company called Mass Adhesive, MASSADHESIVE.com, and it's called Electronic Goop. And it comes in this nice little thing, and it's designed to not. It's designed to be a little bit of a thermal barrier, so it doesn't absorb the heat. So yeah, with this you can make like 2 little ridges here, and you put the AIO down in between, and then you squash these together, so that holds the AIO up vertically. And then what you can do is put the top of the board to the right side of you, because that's where the tip of the soldering iron is going to come in, and then you can feed the wires in from the left. So what you can do is put the tip of the soldering iron on the top of the through hole. That's going to liquefy all the solder, and then you can just very carefully push the lead into that liquefied solder and then let go. What you want to be careful of is when you're doing that, make sure that one of the strands of wires doesn't not go through. So after you're done, you're going to need to use magnification to make sure, because what you don't want is one strand of wire to go from the positive to the negative, and then you plug in a battery and the thing explodes. So yeah, that's how I personally do it, but nothing wrong with getting some solder wick, removing all of the solder, putting the wires through, and then adding solder back in. Yeah, multiple ways to get that job done. Great question, Troy. Thanks for asking that. Northern Tier says, I was just going to use a new set of NewbieDrone 29. Hey, by the way, those 702 29,000s that I mangled the shit out of the PCBs on are completely fine. Like, that's pretty fucking cool. A couple of those PCBs, they were at like a 45-degree angle. Like, I rammed those screws through. So that's an accomplishment in and of itself. But don't do what I did. Use the short screws that they come with. Northern Tier says, I was going to use a new set of NewbieDrone 29,000 KVs. Glad I saw this. I could have done the same thing. I'll need to bring this. They need to bring this to people's attention. Yeah, like I'm tempted to send. I'm gonna let Kelvin know what happened. I don't think I'm gonna say to Kelvin, you need to put a public service announcement out about this, because I think the fact that the motors come with a set of screws is enough. Like, you should... The problem is, I think most people, when they swap motors, do what I do, which is to back the screws out halfway and leave them in the plastic. So yeah, I'm gonna tell Kelvin what happened, and then what he does is on him. I'm not gonna say, like, you need to tell everybody about this. Nah. I'm just gonna explain to him what I did. And yeah, what he does with it. If he wants to run with it, great. If not, it is what it is. FPV Trucker says, perfect timing. I just purchased and installed Velocidrone on my new gaming laptop. It's really touchy. So I didn't know how to title this live stream. We're gonna talk about how to fly smooth, and I'm gonna show you it in Velocidrone. I'm not gonna show you how to fly smooth in Velocidrone. I'm just going to show you how to fly smooth. And we just happen to be using Velocidrone as the platform to do that in. So, and yeah, the stream title does not really make sense for that. So I'm going to change it right now. How to fly smooth, parentheses, featuring Velocidrone. Does that make more sense? Featuring Velocidrone, you know what I mean? Maybe that makes more sense, maybe not. Whee! Elmohawk says, waiting for the Mobula 7 Walksnail. Was it a good choice, or is there a better one for the future? Let's see what motors they put on it and what AIO they put in it. So here it is, Mobula 7 Walksnail 1S. Well, all right, so here's the first. If this is the one that you bought, here's the first issue, is that they used the heavier Walksnail camera and VTX. 33 grams, 33.5 grams. Good lord. It's also on 1102s that are too low of a KV. You're going to want to swap the motors for sure. You're going to want to swap the motors over to the TinyWhoop.com 0802, 25,000 or 27,000 1.5 millimeter motor shaft motor. That's for sure. And then you're going to want Gemfan bi-blades. So, it's on the Super B flight controller. Well, a lot of us had a lot of problems with the Super B flight controller before we realized that BlueJay 0.178 and 9 were a problem. I've heard that the Super B AIO is actually fine once you backdate it back to BlueJay 0.16. So maybe it's okay that it's on the Super B. What annoys me about the Super B is that it doesn't have plugs and the motors are direct soldered. So for you to do a motor swap, it's going to suck because you're going to have to direct solder motors on, and that just sucks. Is it doable? Absolutely. But it sucks. So that's going to annoy the shit out of you. But yeah, I don't know. It'll fly okay out of the box. It looks like it's got 1002, not 1102s. They're only 20,000 kV, so definitely leave them on these tri-blades. Maybe try the new Gemfan tri-blades. I really wish, though, that they'd use the Walksnail Lite system, which is almost 3 grams lighter. I wonder if there's a version where they did use that. I don't think there is, though, because I don't think Happy Model has a canopy that's specifically designed for that Walksnail Lite. Look at me coming up in on the Google machine. Never finishing the Mobula 7. Great, way to go. New to digital FPV. 2 to 3S. What? What is this? Oh, the old one. Right. Yeah, don't buy that. Yeah, it looks like they don't have a new version. So yeah, you've got the slightly heavier VTX and camera. What is nice though is that that VTX does not overheat in 25 seconds. So you're gonna really love that about it. And the camera is easier to mount because it has the 14 millimeter mounting holes. So there are some advantages to the one that you've got coming. It's also meant to be flown outside, so the fact that it's a little bit heavier is really not the end of the world. So yeah, I would fly it as is, move it over to the new Gemfan 1608 tri-blade propellers, and then at some point you're going to solder on a set of these 802 25 or 27,000 kV motors with the 1.5 mil motor shaft, and then you're pretty much done. I mean, that's really all that you'll need to do to that to get it flying as good as it possibly can, and that'll make a big difference. And BT 2.0, of course, do that as soon as you possibly can. Freelojo says you need the dithering, if I remember correctly. I don't think you do. I've turned it off when I was troubleshooting BlueJay on the live stream, trying to figure out what was causing the issues, but on 17, 18, 16, I turned off dithering and it didn't make any difference. So I don't think it will have made a difference, but we'll see. Maybe it did. You never know. Ethan W says, how do you like the Betafpv cross-style AIO? It's the one that all the racers use, so it must be decent. It must be good. I personally have it in this little Walksnail rig, and it works completely fine. There's not a problem with it, and that's a really good thing. So yeah, it gets a thumbs up from me, I guess is what I'm getting at here. Let me check one more thing on this. Let me check one quick thing. I remember hearing from somebody. Oh no, that's on 0.19. I remember hearing from somebody that there's a setting in the newer BlueJays that asks you if you're running a 1S or a 2S battery, and I heard from someone, it might have been on Facebook, so it's probably wrong. I heard from someone that you need that setting does not work properly when you set it to 1S, and you have to set it to 2S and above on everything. But that setting is not in BlueJay 0.16, which is what's on this guy. So that's not, yeah. That has nothing to do with the issue that we were having, which is a shame, because I thought I might have just had it figured out. Bruno says, green, bro. We went green. RT also votes for green. Travis votes for green. Cool. I made the right decision. Apache Smoke says, I gotta go. CMYK dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. This is as good a time as any to let you know that this is my full-time job, and I rely on support from you beautiful people to keep this train rolling. If you like this content and you would like to see it continue, you get to make that decision, literally. If you guys support me, I'll keep making it. If you don't, I'll go to hell and die. So those are your options. CiottiFPV.com is going to bring you to my little link tree here, and it's got a million different ways that you can hook your brother up. This is my streaming schedule here with a link to YouTube, which you're at right now. Patreon helps me out the most, and we've actually got some new patrons that are going to get some shout outs. Troy P, thank you for joining the Gangly Gang. He's getting in on some giveaways. Sleepy CBR also getting in on some giveaways. Welcome, brother. He's been in the gang. He's been in the Gangly Gang forever, though. Ryan M, he's getting in on some giveaways as well. Welcome to the gang, my friend. What else do we have here? I think there's one or two more. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, there it is. Crash and Burn FPV, welcome to the Gangly Gang. Thanks for joining up, my friend. And then I still think I'm missing one. Yep, there it is. Chase D. Chase Dirks, welcome to the gangliest of all the gangs. Thank you, brother. I think we are caught up. Yo, so by the way, I think I mentioned this on Friday, but I'm gonna end up making roughly twice as much money from the from that Monster Jam gig as I thought I would, because of the per diem and because of mileage. They pay really well on mileage, and I drove really far to get there. So yeah, that's awesome, because that means that I actually made some money. Like previously I thought that I was going to kind of break even for the weekend, which is fine because Maggie had a great time and we both ate some good food together after the gig. So yeah, sometimes vacations. I mean, you know, one of the really cool things about travel bloggers is they just go on vacations for free, and sometimes it really is like just for free. Sometimes they don't make any money, but they make a bunch of content. And that's marketing material. So it's you know, sometimes like the best you can wish for is to get out of there at like net zero or whatever. But yeah, it's always good when you make a little money, that's for sure. Hey, so you can also support me by buying some of my stuff over on Etsy. I have some really fun stickers and some hardware that'll help you out on your micro builds. Over on Teespring, I got some t-shirts and random apparel that you might dig. And then you can work one-on-one with me. I did a call yesterday, actually, with my buddy Andrew, working with flight instruction and tuning and build planning. So yeah, take advantage of somebody with over 7 years in FPV. Stop wasting money on stuff that sucks. I'll tell you which stuff holds up and which stuff flies good, so that you stop wasting your time and money on just garbage things from HDLRC. Not just from HDLRC, there's plenty of companies that make garbage. And then look at this, I got all these affiliate links. PayPal link if you just want to support me directly, of course. Make sure you put a note in so that I give you a shout out. But then, yeah, affiliate links, man. If you're doing an order on the internet, try to use an affiliate link. Most websites have an affiliate program. Most content creators have affiliate links. It's why we can do what we do, because you guys are awesome about clicking these. I personally have changed all of my bookmarks over to affiliate links so that I don't have to think about it. I have them to WeBleed FPV, Newbie Drone FPV Cycle, Amazon.com. One of our regulars on here messaged me the other day. He says, I finally remembered to use your Amazon affiliate link, and the order that I placed was $1,600. I was like, oh shit. Unfortunately, Amazon pays out the lowest out of any of these affiliate programs, but still, that's super cool that that you guys ever remember to do it, because I typically forget. Also, Get FPV, Oh My God, HD0, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, and AliExpress. If you hit these affiliate links at any point before you check out, I will get 1 to 6% of your total order. You have to do it every time. After you check out, it wipes the affiliate link out. So yeah, that's how that works. That's how you support me so that these can keep going. Rasmus says, best bind and fly digital whoop with ELRS serial for very tight / small indoor areas at the moment. Avatar or HD0 does not matter. Well, first and foremost, there's no such thing as best. There's just different. So get that out of your head. You could argue that there is a rig that's best for you. In order for me to make that recommendation, I would need a hell of a lot more info than 3 lines of text in this little chat. I have a service on Fiverr where I spend a half an hour or an hour with you. It's called build planning. And that's what that service is. Like, I've got a big long list of questions, and we have a big long, like 15 or 20 minute discussion about how you fly, where you fly, who your favorite pilots are, what are you doing with the footage, a million different things. After I have all of that info, then and only then can I recommend a setup that is best for you. But just, first and foremost, understand that there is no such thing as just a blanket best. Like, there is no answer to your question. There is no best bind and fly digital whoop with ELRS serial for very tight, small indoor areas at the moment. There's just different. There's a bunch of different ones. The limiting factor in your question is bind and fly. None of the bind and flies are really all that good. So if if you really are looking for a bind and fly and you're not willing to do any upgrades or custom building, you can kind of just pick whichever one you want, and they're all pretty average. So you can just kind of close your eyes and point. Personally, I would stay with Happy Model. That they have a tendency to have bind and flies that are ever so slightly better than the rest. So yeah, I would maybe go with them. But yeah, if you are willing to do upgrades, I think I would. It really depends. Yeah, to really make a proper suggestion, I need to have the answers to all of those questions. But from the amount of info that I have here, what I can say is go with Happy Model. Avatar versus HD0 is a 100% personal decision for you. Look up here on YouTube videos of people flying Walksnail HD0, and then look up pictures, videos of people flying. Yeah, each one, and you decide which one has the quality that you're looking for. The Avatar Walksnail system has better image quality, but a little bit more latency. So yeah, there's a lot of decisions that are super personal there. I can't really help all that much without literally spending a half an hour on the phone with you, but there's some stuff to kind of get you started. That's about as much feedback as I can give you before I basically just start talking about what I prefer. And what I prefer is very different than what anybody else on Earth prefers. So I try not to do that. Ethan, and I mean, I show you guys every single build that I do, so you see what I build and the components that I choose, so you already know what I prefer. So yeah. Ethan W says, we got that. Hockey Round says, send it with a motor limit is cooler. Northern Tier says, you have to fly KISS to send it. Yeah, right. Yeah. You have to fly KISS to be a cool kid and to send it, because saying send it is what the cool kids do. CMYK says, okay, boomer. RT McKinney says, crash and burn it. CMYK says, get off my lawn. RT McKinney says, told you, just crash and burn it. CMYK dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. CMYK saying, first time caller, long time listener. That's for any old people. You'll remember that from old radio shows. That used to be a very common thing for people to say when they were calling into a radio show. Left Step says, why don't we ever see you fly out a window or a door? Is your yard still no good for flying? I mean, it's just, there's just not a whole lot going on out there, and like, it is unrecoverable. If I crash out there, I have to walk out and get it. So yeah, usually I just don't go out there because it's bigger, it's more open, and that doesn't really make sense for TinyWhoops. The shit that I got going on in here is much more challenging and I think much more fun to watch. But yeah, I've got some 3-inch builds coming that will be flown outside, so you'll get to see some flying outside sooner than later. Jason Black says, I sent you an Instagram message about analog VTX wiring from the FPV guide. Just want to hear your opinion about it. To be honest, Jason, I would rather you ask on the live stream, so that I can answer the question for the good of like the entire community. I feel bad, like when you guys message, like you guys are more than welcome to message me directly, right? And like sometimes it's a really good question, and like I kind of feel bad saying like, hey, can you come to a live stream and ask that question? But I also kind of don't feel bad about doing that because yeah, like yeah. Because I want, when it's a more general question, there's someone else out there with that same question, so I would rather kind of answer it here. So Jason, if you can't, we're kind of running out of time. Jason, do this next live stream you come to. I'm also very backed up on email and social media and stuff. Next live stream that you can make it to, tag me and ask your question, and we'll talk through it for the good of everyone. I'll probably forget this, and I'll eventually see your email or message, and I'll just answer the question. But yeah. Rasmus says, do you ever do digital VTX? I do. I have quite a few. I probably have more digital VTXs than analogs at this point. We've got DJI Vista, DJI Vista, DJI Vista, 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 and then we've got Walksnail, Walksnail. There's another Walksnail build here and another Walksnail build over there. So it's like 9 or 10 digital rigs. And then for analog, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish. Although then there's a whole bunch of analog TinyWhoops. So yeah, I guess I'm pretty much split, 50-50 or so. And I've done Walksnail, and I have an 03 air unit on the way, and a Grinderino on the way. We need a new fund. What should the new fund be? You guys get to pick it. YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up, try to find my place. Rockcrawler says, I volunteered at Rampage but didn't get a box. I did get a volunteer shirt, though. Okay, yeah, I did not get a volunteer shirt when I was there. So I think maybe that's why they sent me the box. CMYK says, looks like silly something. CiottiFPV, get those fingers in there. Northern Tier says, glad they turned out well. Fire Mike says, using Velocidrone. Yeah, that works too. Matthew Karam says, you should do a stream where you show all of your rigs and what you use each one for. That would be cool for the new viewers. That's a really good idea, Matthew. That's a really, really, really good idea. I have to try to remember that. Do me a favor and remind me of that. Peter Savas says, I just put old 26,000 kV motors back and it's flying okay, so the only change was the motors. That's a tough one, man. To be honest, that points towards the gyro starting to be on its way out. Because I've done a dozen Mobula 6 ELRS builds on 28, 30, 32 thousand kV motors, and they've all been completely fine. So, yeah. Check all of those things that I mentioned earlier, and then at that point you just have to get another AIO. And I mean, it's not the end of the world. You know, the AIOs are gonna burn up eventually anyway. So the next level of troubleshooting you're gonna have to do is to start replacing components. And on TinyWhoops, the AIO is kind of the only component. So yeah. Peter Savas says it's a Mob 6 2G4. Free Lojo says up. Jason Black says it's a pick. Free Lojo says up. What's that mean? First time I called a radio station, I said first time listener, long time caller. Nice. Jason Black says it's a pick. Where is it, Jason? It's a pick where? Hopefully not in my email, because that is a fucking wasteland right now. Yeah, I have to get into my email and pour a bunch of time in. All right, let's fire up Velocidrone here, and we'll spend the last 15-ish minutes going over some tips and tricks to fly nice and smooth. You fucking bastard desk son of a bitch, you. Oh, you dirty whore. Oh, it hurts. Oh, it burns. Oh, it burns so bad. Oh, God. Oh my God. Oh, I hit it so hard too. I was like, I had like all my weight behind the chair. I was rolling. Oh my God. Oh, fuck, yo. Ooh, you bastard. Ooh. Oh, you filthy whore, you. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. Oh my god, I'm like right on the brink of my eyes watering. Holy shit balls. Ooh. Boy. Good lord. Let me go to Instagram and look for a picture real quick. I'm gonna do 18 things at once right now. Freestyle continue. I'm on Instagram. Alright, looks like it's not on Instagram. That would mean that it's on, there's a picture waiting for me on Facebook, I'm assuming. Take a quick look. Name of the session is CiottiFPV. We're going to create it here, and we are going to go into, let's go into the city. The other thing I need to know is what your guys' name is. I'm assuming that over on Facebook your name is Ariel81 Drone Services. So he sent a picture to from FPV Guidebook, but the picture is so small I can't really see anything. Oh, okay, yeah, so this is just a picture of sharing your grounds. Yeah, so we talk about this a lot. I can't really show this because it's got all my other messages in here, but yeah, this is just shared grounds. This is fairly standard, video and grounding kind of setups. Hold on, we can just do a quick Google search. So, like, on video, let's just type that. So fuck, come on now. Should be able to easily find this. Here we go. So yeah, basically you your best bet. Here we go. Your best bet for noise-free video. Oh, for fuck's sake. We'll just zoom in on this. Your best bet for noise-free video on any analog rig is for your camera ground to hit the same pad as your VTX ground. In this illustration, they show it linking up with the wire. I guess you could do that, but it's even easier to just run your camera ground on top of the same pad that your VTX ground is on your AIO or on your flight controller. Or technically speaking, you could even do that directly to your ESC. So yeah, using, yeah, sharing your grounds is a really good idea. You don't always have to do it. Sometimes with a decent quality VTX, you can ground the camera to the VTX and then ground the VTX to your ESC or flight controller or AIO. But I do this almost every time because what I don't want to do is to wire it up not sharing the grounds, and then there is electrical noise, and then I have to tear the fucking thing apart. So nowadays I always, and for the last couple of years, I'll always just run the camera ground and the VTX ground to the exact same pad. It's just one of those kind of like good practice things to do. Yeah, we talk about that quite a bit on here. Although lately we haven't been talking much about analog setups. So good chance you missed it. I lost the chat. Hold on. I gotta pull the chat over onto the other screen. There we go. Okay. So now we are good to go. Okay, hold on. Hey Peter, it also could be that you're check your screws. Make sure your screws aren't too long on those higher kV motors and jamming into the windings. Ramdango says don't get robbed. I don't know what that means. Rob Oxton says it says I'm back. Any RID spoof talk? No, I have not really kept up with it. I need to watch a couple videos to get educated on it. Ramdongo says, P.S. Steal the O3 carrier unit. What's the O3 carrier unit? And then it's funny bone talk. Hey, Brain 3D is here. What's up, Brian? How are you, man? Thanks for coming by. Very cool. Brian says, pretty sure I saw your soul leave your body. Athix says, don't say AOs are going to burn up anyways. Oh, my Bobtoon RC1S is going strong. 2 years, Jesus. Even being dunked in water, nice. Jason Black says, thanks, my gangly dude. You're certainly welcome. Randonko says, 2149 here. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome. Less cam angle must get reverse view speed. Less camera angle must get more reverse view speed. I think what you're saying is when you're flying backwards, it looks like you're going faster. It does indeed. Matthew Graham says, was watching your live stream through my TinyWhoop just now. Feels right, LOL. All right, so last 10-ish minutes of the live stream, we're going to talk about some tips to fly smooth. So my sort of style is not completely smooth. Like, some guys run really low rates, and everything they do is smooth. So this would be sort of like that. Where, like, it's hard for me to even do it. But they'll do everything super low rate, and everything is just ultra smooth, and you just kind of fly around like this. And, like, if I'm honest, you wouldn't even have that little notch there. It would just all be super smooth. And to me, this gets kind of boring pretty quick. There's not much drama to it, and it's just kind of, like, don't get me wrong, I respect it, and I worked really hard to be able to fly that way, but then I just got kind of bored with it. Like, it's just everything is always rotating slowly, so you just get kind of sick of seeing this same rotational rate, right? And there's not a ton of flavor. It's super impressive, but yeah, I go with a style. And then there's the other side of the equation where you fly, like, you know, the stick bang guys and Steele Davis and all these guys, where it's just mayhem all the time, and, like, nothing is smooth, right? It's just constant corrections, constant stick banging. It's actually a lot easier to fly like this, because since you're always moving the sticks in different directions, you can throw corrections in constantly. So you don't have to, like, commit to any stick movement, because you've set this pacing where everything is constantly chaos and railing around the screen left and right, up and down. So, like, when something jumps out in front of you, it doesn't even look like a correction. You just, you know, you've just kind of, like, set the expectation that there's going to be mega chaos constantly. I tend to fall somewhere in between, where I will use some big, like, pops, and I think this sometimes gets called, like, the juicy style, but I don't know, the word juicy doesn't make any sense to me. Like, someone puts a definition on it, that's fine for them, but I didn't put the definition on it, so I'm not gonna yeah, I just don't understand what the word juicy really means. But for me, it's more about, like, a more dramatic kind of flying style. So, like, one of the things that I love is, like, I'll just chill out and fly, like, nice and smooth and nice and slow, and just, like, you know, you kind of, like, lull people in, and it's like, oh, isn't this cool? Like, look what I can do. It's all nice and smooth, right? It's super cool. We're smooth. And then, like, all at once, you just, like, nyah! And you throw, like, a big snap movement in it, and then you kind of, like, wake them up, and then you pull them down into, like, smooth flying again, but then you fucking wah! And you just do something, and another quad flies in the street in front of you. So yeah, I kind of dig that, because it really allows you to do some really interesting stuff, and it kind of keeps things fresh for people that are watching, right? It's not just, like, the same thing over and over again. You're giving them some really high rate stuff. You're giving them some smoothness. And one of the things I like the most about this is that you can do stuff like this. So, like, you can really exaggerate your hang time. So you come up, and then you can get a bunch of your rotation out of the way in a hurry, right? So like, this is sort of my favorite thing to do. You do a big throttle punch, chop the throttle and turn it over, and you just let it sit inverted. And it, for like a split second, it's like, how is he defying gravity still going upwards? Well, it's just because you've added a bunch of throttle, and then you chop it and you get the turn done, and then you let the camera sit. It's kind of like an optical illusion. Like, what you're actually doing is you're giving your viewer as much time as possible to see what's going on. When you're rolling, they can't see what the hell's going on. They just see that the entire world is mayhem and spinning around. When you stop, you actually allow the viewer's eye to like look around the screen for a second and try to find like a subject, or it's just so much easier to watch it. And the trick is you quickly get your rotation out of the way, and then you wait, right? So you only spend like a quarter of a second on the rotation, and then you either stop the rotation, right? You can just totally stall it out. Or what I like to do is you just do a really slow rotation. And when you're rotating slowly like that, people's eyes can more easily find a subject. It's just much more watchable to do that. And you have to be careful. Like, there is a point where like that's a little bit too fast, I think. Maybe not. But you got to really slow it down. And the only way to slow it down that much is to hit a bunch of the rotation all at once, right? So you get like half of your rotation done, and then you really slow it down. And if you look in the sticker overlay on the bottom, you'll see that I attack and then back off a lot. So it's a big stab outwards, and then you slowly pull it back to center. And I kind of stab back to center, stab out, and then stab back to center, but you don't fully center it. I don't like to. You can, if your timing is perfect and you can hit it perfectly 90 degrees or 180 degrees, you can just let it sit zeroed. Like, that looks cool. Usually what I'll do, though, is under-rotate a little bit, but then I'll slowly bring it back, and it allows you to really kind of lock in on things. So that's more of like a style thing. How do you fly smooth, though? The number one tip, and the thing that you can work on for hundreds and hundreds of hours for flying smooth, is just committing to your stick position. You're flying straight, you decide I'm going to turn to the right, commit to turning to the right, and keep turning to the right. All the way until you can turn back center, or you can turn to the left. What you don't want to do is commit to turning to the right. Oh, I over-rotated, I'm going to turn back to the left. I over-rotated again, I'm going to turn back to the right. That reads as mistakes. What you're doing by committing to either right or left is you're hiding any potential mistakes. I've committed to turning left, so I'm going to stick with that until it looks like I did it on purpose. I didn't actually do it on purpose. I was looking up too much, but I committed to that stick motion, that stick movement and that stick position, and I stuck with it. And if you stick with it for long enough, people will think you did it on purpose, is basically the situation here. So there's a little bit of like, in my opinion, true freestyle is not this thing that's kind of taken over freestyle a bunch of years ago, where you go to a spot and you find like this walking bridge, and then you decide that you're going to do a power loop, and then you're going to dive down this wall, and then you're going to flip over it like this, and then you're going to do that. And like, over the last bunch of years, there's a lot of people that they just go to a spot and they decide that little line and they do it over and over again. And like, to me, and this is completely just a personal thing, that's not true freestyle. Like, that's more like, I don't know, line planning, I guess. True freestyle to me, and again, I'm not saying that this is the right answer, this is just my answer. True freestyle is you're in it. Like, maybe you've flown the spot a couple times and you know the spot a little bit, but you're not just doing the same thing over and 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 over again until you get it perfect. You are out here just flying freely. And when you're flying freely, it's a lot harder to fly smooth, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know Like, when I throw it over this building, is it going to make it? Like, is it going to make it over this building? Well, how about this building? Is it going to make it? Is it going to make it? Is it going to make it? I got lucky and it made it. But in the simulator, you can really commit. You can really just commit and wait. Now you got to get out of it. But, like, you have to get out of it once it's going to hit something. If it's not absolutely going to hit something right now, leave your sticks alone. Leave them here. See what it does. Maybe it'll fall into that little gap. At the last second, you can just blast the throttle, and if you do it right, it's going to look like you did it on purpose. No matter what, I'll put it this way, no matter what, you've committed to this. If I bail now, it looks like it looks terrible, right? So the earlier you bail, the worse it looks. If I do the same kind of thing, and I just wait until the last second, I really fucked that up. But it looks so much more purposeful if you wait until it gets to that surface that it's about to hit, because it almost like it makes your viewer stop thinking about like the potential mistake, and it makes them go, oh shit, he got so close to that, or she. So it just kind of shifts it shifts their brain from like looking for you to fuck up, which we tend to do, right? Like, there's so many fail videos now that we're like always looking for people to make mistakes. It shifts from that mentality over to, oh my God, he got so close to that thing, that was so crazy. So that's really the big tip, and you'll see me in the sticker overlay. Like, come up here and I just leave it left and just leave it left. And I might make like one single little correction to like in that case, I increase the roll rate. But what you don't want is like this thing. Like you can't, like, this looks bad. You can't have this like right then left, then right then left, then right then left. And the reason why me shooting gaps is so difficult is because I refuse to do that little right left dance. When a gap is small, it's really hard to get it perfectly lined up from the jump. See, I had to go left, right, left on that one. I don't like that. I don't like the way that looks. So for me, shooting gaps is pretty difficult. I have to really look ahead to find the gap and figure out how to get through it with hopefully no corrections at all. But yeah, the main thing is committing to a stick movement. I'm in a right stick movement. Now I'm going to go left, and I'm going to leave it left as long as I can. Keep it left, keep it left, keep it left, keep it left, keep it left. Look how nice that worked out. If I'd bailed on that, it wouldn't have looked as good. Leave it, and now commit to another. And now when you start to work it together, you're going to go right, and then you're going to go left, and then you're going to straighten, and then you're going to go right. See where I'm going with this? And then you're going to go left. And then right. But you just stick with each motion as long as you possibly can. And you try to stay as quiet as possible. Like, you try not to like, if you're sticking with right, you don't want to be doing this. You don't want to be like constantly moving it to the right. You want to try to, like, if you look at my stick overlay, just stare at my stick overlay. You want to try to go out and then in, and you try to not go out again. You then try to go to the opposite direction. So out and then back in, and leave it in, leave it, and then commit to going the other way. It's hard to like really exaggerate it and not crash. But yeah, you want to try to go out with the stick and then back in, and then slowly get to the center, and then go the opposite direction. And now this is not just on roll. You're also going to do this on, well, you can also do this on pitch, and it's one of my favorite things to do. So we spend a lot of time rolling when we fly around. Well, I really like to get the horizon level and spend like 10 or 15 seconds only using pitch. It's one of the drills that I give all my students that I work with on Fiverr, is to just spend as much time as possible only using pitch. I had to use a little bit of roll there, and now I'm having to use roll. But if you can put like 10 or 15 seconds in, let me find a good spot for it. Oh, there's a great spot for it up here. So in between these buildings, you've got a little spot where if you get this lined up perfectly, you can like just fly with pitch. See, we're doing everything with pitch. I got to use a little bit of roll to avoid that, but I'm going to try to dive in here. This is going to be close. Nah, that was too much. Yeah, this is a great little spot here. So let's get this lined up. And we can try to just fart around with pitch. Oh, shit. And we just little tiny roll corrections. There's a big roll correction, but I think you guys see what I'm talking about. So like this, you can just get in here and you can really like make people forget that you can even roll. And you can just sit here and do a whole bunch of pitch stuff. I'm going to hit that building. And then what's really cool about it, I mean, you can even do it just like around gates. You can do it anywhere. Just fly with pitch for a minute and see what you get. You can do some power loops, some Matty flips. I had to add a little roll there, but you can do a bunch only using pitch. I'm kind of screwed here. Technically not. I can do that. But then, yeah, after you like lull people in with all pitch stuff, it just makes this rotation look that much more insane. And yeah, you can do the same thing with it. You can fly really smooth with pitch. So those are some of my biggest tips and best tips. Not quite 102 of them, but you know, to flying smooth. Just commit. Oh, and here's the last thing. So notice this, right? If I move the roll around, this is not smooth. If I move the pitch around, this is not smooth. If I move the yaw around, this is not smooth. Why is it that when I move the throttle like crazy, it still looks perfectly smooth? As long as I don't accidentally push into yaw. This is totally smooth. Look how much I'm doing with the throttle. It's because the throttle has to move 600 grams of weight against gravity. So one of the tricks with flying smooth is to be very active on the throttle and very sharp on the throttle, because you're going to get into these situations where you're waiting. You got to be sharp on the throttle or else you're going to hit the ground. So a big part of flying smooth is being very active on the throttle and using a lot of full throttle. Wait, full throttle, stab it, get it going here. And then like when you're trying to do like something smooth around like a building, you're going to need to stab full throttle sometimes to stick into the sides of the building. Like that's the most trippy spin you'll ever really catch me doing. This is the way to use a trippy spin that looks cool, in my opinion. I think the regular trippy spins are terrible. And you got to use full throttle to do that. A lot of this smooth flying, you have to be really hard on the throttle so that you can be like something has to be violent. You know what I mean? Like something has to be violent to get over the fact that you're making such a slow rotation all the time. You're going to need to use the throttle to guide you around. And what you're doing on your slow rotation, now I'm going to use the throttle to suck myself in here. Now I'm going to use it to not hit the ground and pick back up. Like you got to start applying the throttle when you fly smooth at different times. You can't just wait until the horizon is level. You got to put the throttle on it. See what I'm doing? See how I'm getting around, but I'm still just turning left the whole time? It's kind of all about the throttle. Hit it hard here to get down the street, keep rotating. Hit it hard here to go in between the two buildings. Hit it hard here to not hit the ground. So your throttle has to be super active because you're putting throttle on at different times to guide you around. And there is a lot of pre-planning. You got to like look really far ahead to see what's coming. See, I had no choice. I did have a choice there, but I made a decision. You got to really be looking for every possible opportunity to hammer the throttle when you're going to fly smooth like that. Make sense? I was a little sloppy with that one. Woo! So there you go, friends. There are the best tips I can give you to fly smooth. Looking ahead's a big deal. Super active on the throttle. The biggest thing, though, is to pick your style and then mold this within your style. Like flying smooth is sort of its own style, but you can choose to be smooth all the time, or you can choose to be more dramatic and have some pops here and there and then be smooth. I really prefer that style. But that is a very individualized decision. Where is Velocidrone? There it is. So yeah. That is something that will take a long time to learn, and you will crash a lot because you're going to commit to this stick movement and you're going to leave it until you're about to hit something. And when you're about to hit something, you're going to have to like hammer the throttle to get off of it. And that's just hard. That's different than you ever flown. This whole flying smoothly thing is something that I teach on Fiverr a lot. So if you want one-on-one tutelage on how to do that, Fiverr is the best way to do it. But here's a little taste for free for you on the old live stream Merino. Let me get caught up on chat here, and then we're going to shut this thing down. I am hungry as hell. That's why I keep yawning. CMYK says, juicy product ideas, sweatpants that say juicy on the butt. Fresh new ideas only. Hockey rounds with a $2 super chat. He says ice pack. What's ice pack? Ice pack fund? Dan636 with a $10 super chat. He says, getting back into the scene after a hiatus. Go to open up Betaflight Configurator on my Mac. And I can't find connect to any flight controller now. Worked last time I tried months ago. Had any advice? I think just download the newest version of the configurator. Yeah, that's a weird issue. All right, friends, we sended it, and we let's go'd. I hope you enjoyed. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com if you like this stuff and want to see it continue. It's up to you. I'm completely funded by you beautiful people. So throw me a couple of dollars on Patreon. If you do the $5 and up tiers, you could win something. If you do win something, your Patreon will basically be free for the next like 6 to 8 months. So it's a pretty decent idea to skip the $3 a month tier and just go straight to the $5 a month tier where you're going to get in on giveaways. There's also a $10 and a $20 tier to get you in on even more, even bigger giveaways. It's all explained over there. Dan636 is still having issues. Yeah, that's really weird. Try it on a different computer, I guess. Try a different quad. That's a very weird issue. Macs usually don't have any connection issues. You can't do the Impulse RC driver fix because Macs have drivers all built in. That's weird, man. I don't know what else to suggest, to be honest. Sorry. I would maybe fire Joshua an email on that one. I can't think of what it is. I'll obsess over it though, and maybe I'll figure it out. Here comes the massive crazy dive from the hotel in Nashville on the last night that I was there, because I just can't get enough of it. And let's get a little bit of copyright-free music going, and then we'll meet up again tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm going to use that same song from before. That'll work. All right, friends, be good. I love you. Later! I'm not ready yet. Close to being ready, though. Love you guys. Be good. See you tomorrow night at 10. See ya!